Olá, boa tarde, bom dia, boa noite, de onde você estiver assistindo essa nossa live com a Katy Arnander e com a Tracy Mann, representante do South by Southwest. Essa live vai ser em inglês, eu só vou fazer essa rápida introdução em português. A Tracy, ela participa conosco da live, mas ela também não vai responder as perguntas, porque todas elas vão ser orientadas para Katy. A Tracy está aqui porque, como você sabe, ela é a nossa representante no Brasil, então se você é um brasileiro ou representa uma marca brasileira que deseja estar participando do South by Southwest London, então procure a Tracy. A Tracy, depois a gente deixa os contatos dela ali nos comentários dessa live. E vamos começar nesse momento, começando mais uma live do clube com o South by Southwest. So now we are going to change to English. Welcome to our live interview about the inaugural South by Southwest London Festival. We are delighted to have Katy Arnander, South by Southwest London Director of Programming, and Tracy Mann, our most beloved Brazilianist and South by Southwest International Communications and Partnership Strategies. With us today, here to discuss the preparations and program for this exciting new addition to the South by Southwest family. So, Katy, let's get started. We are now just 7 weeks away from the launch of the first edition of South by Southwest London. I imagine you must be excited, but also incredibly busy. Thank you so much for being here today with us. So how are the preparations coming along this stage?
Oh my gosh, well, thank you for inviting me to talk to you all, and a pleasure to meet you. Yes, I'm not going to lie, it's getting very hectic. You know, we have 7 weeks out, and of course we have Easter holidays in the middle, so people are going away, and it's the worst time for vacations, but it's coming along very well. We announced the majority of our conference program was announced last week, so it's pretty much all there up on our website, all the tracks, all the speakers. We're adding a few more obviously at the last minute. There'll always be some very last minute special guests that might only be arriving one day before, but we're pretty much fully programmed across conference, and we have music is 50% programmed, announced, and our screen program is going to be announced next week. So yeah, it's busy but good.
That's lovely. We understand very much how South by Southwest works, so it's always like this, Katy. It's your first time, but it's always like this. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, but regarding the conference program, some stellar names have already been announced. Idris Elba, Gillian Anderson, Deepak Chopra, Dr. Jane Goodall. Wow.
Yeah.
And we love this kind of simple, elegant, and intelligent way that you have classified the conference speakers, such as culture and innovation, society and governance, business and leadership, and technology and innovation. We also found it very interesting how you have defined the conference tracks, which derive from this speaker classification. For example, AI, robotics, and automations deriving from technology and innovation, or fintech deriving from business and leadership. Could you comment a little bit about the curatorial rationale behind this? Why did you opt for this type of organization, which differs a little bit from what we see at South by Southwest Austin?
Of course. I mean, there are so many topics that we wanted to touch upon in the whole area of tech and innovation, and actually also very connected to the creative industries as well as big business, corporate business. And I think we felt that by breaking down the program into sort of 23, 24 tracks, it allowed the delegates to have a very clear signposting of where they could go, and I'll talk a little bit where we've got different things on, where they could go and what they could expect to be listening about. So you're right, there are the 23, 24 tracks that are sort of broken into these categories, and then we put them into a broader umbrella of four categories, as you said, like society and governance and technology. So it's really to help people move around the event, I suppose, and to know where to go and at what time of day, depending on what they particularly want to listen to. So that was our sort of curatorial brief. And also part of that was the physical idea of moving people around Shoreditch, around the area where the festival is, because unlike Austin, we're not in one big convention centre. We're actually around 26 different venues. Not all of them are conference venues, but we're dotted all over this part of East London. So we needed to make it clear where people would be going and what they would be listening to in each of those places.
Interesting. That I was curious about the venues, because you just said that the program is almost done. We already saw everything at the website. We have an idea of the general way that the South by London is going. But we are curious about this distribution of the program along the week and along the venues. I mean, because South by Austin, we have like the beginning of the festival is about the conference, the middle and the end about music. Also, the venues that will be, for example, XR is at the Fairmont Hotel.
Yes,
and how it's going to work in London.
So it's a really good question. It's quite similar in a way. So our main hub is somewhere called the Truman Brewery, which is, I don't know if you know about Shoreditch, but it's an old industrial part of East London. So a lot of the places we're using are former factories, sort of old pubs, old studios. It's got that very creative vibe to it because it's had generations of businesses and creatives living in the area. So over in the Truman Brewery, which is our main hub, if you like, that's where what we call the main stage is. So on the main stage, that's going to be our kind of A-list, most well-known speakers across a variety of different topics. But in the other spaces we tend to put different topics in different venues. So, for example, Shoreditch Town Hall, which is a beautiful Victorian building, that's where we're putting most of our marketing, advertising, music, fashion strands, because that's where we're putting more of the creative industries. And up at a venue called Shoreditch Electric, which is actually an old, again, Victorian electric combustion chamber where they used to generate electricity. Up in that building, we've got all of the AI, the fintech, the new technologies, the creator industries, tech creator industries. And then over at a church that we're using in Christchurch, Spitalfields, we've got more of the podcasts, roundtables, discussion, and actually fashion and visual art are over there as well. So depending on the venues, we've got different strands of the program. With our main centre being at Truman, that's our main. I remember at Austin, there's the main room upstairs, isn't there, that fits 1,800 people or something. We don't have that scale. And I think an important thing to note about Shoreditch that's different from Austin is because we don't have one big conference centre, we have lots of smaller churches and halls and town halls and all these beautiful old buildings. Our capacities are smaller, but they're more spread out. So the biggest capacity we've got is about 800 in one of our rooms, but there's several rooms of 800. So it's slightly different from the Austin model. Also, actually, Carol, we don't use any hotels. Like I know in Austin, you use the Fairmount for XR. XR for us is happening in one of our venues called Rich Mix. That's also one of our cinema venues and also one of our conference talks venues. So a lot of cinematic and screen talks will happen there, but also there's cinemas there and also the XR is there. So we're much more... we like to say converged. We converge a lot of the topics and activities within our venues.
Interesting. I'm curious to walk around Shoreditch and see all these venues. And what about the tracks distribution along the week? Are we going to have like music tracks and music program along the entire week, or it's going to be like concentrating certain days? How it's going to work?
It's a little bit concentrated on certain days. For example, I think our busiest days are always going to be Monday to Thursday. We're definitely starting the week with a lot of our tech tracks. Just to say, the main stage track is spread across the whole week because the A-list talk speakers will come when they come. So some of them come on the Friday, some of them come on the Monday. So they're very spread. We're doing a concentration on fashion in the middle of the week because we partnered up with the British Fashion District, which is down in Spitalfields in East London. East London was a very big centre for fashion here in London, and a lot of the creators in the industry in the 70s, 80s and 90s came out of East London. So we're doing a big focus on fashion in the middle of the week because the British Fashion District are having a catwalk and pop-ups and all sorts of exhibitions and talks around Tuesday, Wednesday. So our fashion programming, for example, is mostly Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Our tech programming, I'd say, is probably Monday through to Thursday, the AI, the robotics, the kind of marketing, advertising elements are in the middle of the week, and the music and screen talks are more towards the end of the week. So it's roughly balanced, but otherwise it's pretty consistent across the whole week.
Okay, perfect. Katy, we've been to Shoreditch last December.
Oh,
so
great.
We made a kind of, actually we tried to make a visit some places, for example, the Village Underground, and also the Shoreditch Hall, the city. So it's a lovely place, and we are very, very excited to be there. So I'm gonna ask something related to this, like how is gonna be.
Excuse me.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. How will be the movement between venues in Austin? For example, in Austin, we have this kind of movement facilitated by the event's own buses, electric scooters, bicycle pedicabs, this kind of thing, but primarily on foot. Will it be the same on Shoreditch? In Shoreditch?
Absolutely, yeah. And in a way, I think none of our venues are. I know that in Austin, some of the venues were further away and were sort of out on the other side of the river. I can't remember the neighborhood. No, it's very clearly centralized here in London. So everything I would recommend is by foot. From one corner to the campus to the other corner of the campus is probably a maximum 20 minutes. But in between, there's like 8 or 9 different venues along the way. So it's very unlikely that anybody's ever going to walk more than like 5 or 10 minutes between place to place. Of course, London is a big city. We have, it is different from Austin. It's a much bigger city. I mean, there's much more going on. And so we have the usual bicycles that any city has. We have Lime bikes, we have the Barclays bikes, we have Lime scooters, obviously taxis and buses. But to be honest, it's quicker to walk, much quicker to walk. London traffic isn't as light as the traffic in Austin.
I like the subway.
Exactly. I mean, they're not even one subway. They're not even one subway spot apart. You know, it's less than a subway stop.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to change the subject because there's something that's very important for us, especially Brazilians, that we are very nerdy. We like to do our homework, the programming homework, and we like to save everything beforehand. So I would like to ask you about the app. It's going to be one available for download. Will it be the same that we use in Austin?
It's not the same. It's similar. It's not the same because our app is built by a different tech provider who are building the app based on both the Austin model and the Sydney model. But it will absolutely have the same functionality, which enables you to go on the app and find out what's on, where it's on. It shows you on the physical map, you know, where the venue is that you're going to, so you can build your own schedule from choosing the activities and conferences and events that you want to go to within the app.
Okay. Can you share with us when it will be available to download?
Yes, it should be available. I think I'm going to look to Mike. I think 23rd of April, end of April.
Yeah, we're doing the demoing now.
We're doing the demoing now, but I believe end of it, probably in the next 10 days, something like that, next couple of weeks.
Perfect. If you need any personal tests, you can call us, okay?
Oh, definitely. Well, if you're, I mean, it would be it's great to have your feedback on this because you guys have been to Austin, you've been to South by Southwest so many times that you absolutely know what functionality in the app is most used and most useful. So I think that, you know, any feedback on that as an app user will be really, really useful for us. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, be welcome. Just one last question about it's going to be some kind of feature that we're going to check the size of the venue on the app, or a kind of sign-in system as we have in Austin, like it shows like a green sign, a red sign, or a yellow sign.
There'll be something very similar to that because as I mentioned, our capacities and our venues are all very different, and we want people to know before they set off going to a venue whether there's a chance that they will get into that talk or not. So we will have exactly a kind of capacity signpost saying whether the capacity is full or half full or empty.
How many people do you expect to receive in Shoreditch for the Southwest Office London?
Well, we're planning for about 15,000.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll achieve that. That we're on track to get that, but we'll see how it goes in the first year. Yeah.
Perfect.
Talking about the app, Kate, you know, one of the biggest reasons for anxiety and tension, but also is kind of great advantage, especially to those who have the platinum badge, is the Express Pass.
Yes.
What are you planning for London? Are you going to have Express Pass, and how are
we're going
they
to have something a bit different? We're not going to have Express Passes this year. It's something we are going to have next year. But for this year, we have got something called Platinum Priority Booking. So there will be certain events that you can only book if you're a Platinum Badge holder to go to. For example, we have a big visual art program. Again, that's unlike Austin. Because we're based where we are in East London and at the home of the visual arts industry, and so many great artists have come from these streets, we actually have 3 visual arts exhibitions, if you like, in 3 different places. And all of those will have sort of private viewing times, private views where they can meet the artists or meet the curators. So events like that are what we call kind of priority platinum events. So if an individual or a delegate wants to go to any of those sorts of events, they basically have to respond on the app that they want to go, and then they get put on the list. But there's a limited number, so it's a limited capacity. So it's like a bit like the Express app. It's a kind of first come, first serve if you can book your name in for it.
Interesting. It's going to be a nice experience to test. Let me ask you about the brand activations, because in Austin it's spread throughout the downtown streets, but in Sydney they were concentrated at the Tumbalong Park.
Oh yes, that's
right.
What
will be the approach in London? How it's going to work?
I think it'll be a little bit of both. I mean, what we have at Truman Brewery is not only the big building that you probably saw where we're having the conference inside, but also we've got a lot of amazing outdoor space in and around the brewery. So we might have some activations inside the building, but we'll also have activations outside the building. There's 2 big courtyards. There's a courtyard at the front and a courtyard at the back. The courtyard at the front is open to the public, like Tumbalong Park, so that anybody can pass through, members of the public. The courtyard at the back is an enclosed space which is only open to people with badges. So it's a kind of mix of both at Truman Brewery, half public, half badge holders only. And then throughout the whole Shoreditch campus, so the other campuses we have, there'll be activations at other parts of the campus. So up by Hoxton Square, which is the kind of the other hub, if you like. We have 2 hubs, the Truman hub and the Hoxton hub. And the Hoxton hub is where we have a lot of the tech and the AI and the fintech, and that is up in that part of the campus. Up there'll also be some activations in that area. Otherwise, there might be the odd activation in like small shops in buildings that are already existing inside, a bit like Austin in that respect.
Interesting. I know that the brands, they love to keep like secret until the last minute to make like a surprise for people. Yes. But is there something that you can share with us? Something that you think will be interesting and that we keep an eye?
On the brand activation side?
Yes.
I have to, Mike's sitting opposite me, my colleague. Can I put the camera on him?
So Mike doesn't.
Yeah, sure.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Mike does not want to be the star of this show. Your delegates are completely interested in the content, and that's as it should be. But no, we wouldn't really be allowed to share any of that. I mean, there are some exciting brands, and there are also, I mean, one of the reasons we're being a little bit hesitant is there are some that are very, very keen who we have not done the paperwork with yet, and it's just on us. We're resource light, like a lot of businesses. We're scaling as we go along, and we hope to be as massive as the Austin mothership, and I think we're going to do it that being in a globally connected city like London. But as we're going, we're resourcing as needs be. So we're putting the people together to activate these deals, to create the brand houses. But I think our inaugural year, we have a lot of interest from the world of brands. The world of fans who will want to support us. So if just a watching brief to keep an eye on us and to keep coming back to the website for updates, and hopefully we'll have more to announce very soon. I'm gonna hand you back to the talent.
Thank you, Mark.
Great to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for your special participation.
There we are, exactly.
So let's segue just a little bit. I don't know if I've heard anything about an expo happening in London. Will it be
Yes.
a kind of? Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we'll have an expo in the Truman Brewery in the main building on one of the floors. So there's the first floor that you go into where there'll be some brand activations and some lounges, and then you go up to the second floor. And on the second floor, there's a whole expo area with I don't know how many expo stands, but a lot, and also a connections networking lounge, and also 2 of our conference venues are up there. So that's all on one floor. I don't think there are any Brazilian companies coming to the expo right now, unless Mike knows of any. Not that I know of.
Unless Tracy's done some more of her magic work.
We're working on onboarding one right now. I was just putting that in the chat. Yes.
Oh yes, Aioros.
Aioros, yes, Aioros is a Brazilian company that's coming for the expo. That's lovely. That's nice. I would tell you, like, if there's any expo, then I would love to go to the Spitfield markets and to the Brick Lane market. And this and it will be my personal exhibition expo.
Oh, I know. And the where we're doing the British Fashion District is actually in Spitalfields Market. I don't know if you saw that, but it was that beautiful covered market. Where they have so many stallholders selling all sorts of food and clothes and everything. And so for 2 days, on Tuesday and Wednesday, that's going to be turned into the British Fashion District. I mean, it's not our activation, but we're working closely with them as partners. And we're curating some of their work in our conference, and some of our delegates are able to go down to their fashion show. So we've got a great sort of interaction with them. And then, and then the market's there. The market's there, open all day, every day. So I'm sure you'll have a chance to get down there and do some shopping.
Sure, indeed. Maybe get a raincoat.
Yeah. Well, yes, for June, for sure.
Katy, I know that you're very busy, you and Mike and all the guys. Thank you very much for this interview. I just would like to have a final question that's very important for us. It's about networking. And we noticed that in the programming, there won't be meetups, but then I guess I read maybe somewhere else there are gonna be a few meetups. But I didn't see any workshops also. This kind of session, they represent a kind of format that we have a lot of interaction and we can connect with new people. But also when I searched at the website, I told you that we are nerdy, that we saw the platinum badge description that states that holders will have access to opening mixer, exclusive drink event, festival opening party, priority access, networking meetups, networking sessions, and visual arts platinum only experiences. I would like us for us to comment a little bit about these formats, especially the networking meetups, network sessions, and if you can, the visual arts platinum only experiences.
Of course, yes, we will be doing all of those. To be honest, we haven't fully and properly publicized them on the website yet, but we have a platinum mixer session hour, if you like, every evening. Probably we're trying to work out where to put it, which part of the campus it'll be on, but that will be happening every evening. Of course, we have the opening parties, we have the screen party, the music party, the whole festival opening party. We have the platinum specific opening party. We also have in our connections lounge a sort of networks facility where we can help connect people. And in terms of other activities, there are special events happening for platinum badge holders or for or any other networks. Things like well, actually, there's 2 things. There's the interesting things like I mentioned earlier, which is being able to go to the visual arts exhibitions at a certain time of day, primary and priority access. But also there are specific events at those exhibitions that are open only to platinum badge holders. And there's also a lot of things that we haven't put on the site, if you like, which are kind of softer networking events, which are things like we have a wellness track. We're going to be doing yoga classes and running clubs and walking tours around Shoreditch, like kind of history walking tours around the East End of London, or visual arts walking tours around Shoreditch, and also I hope walking tours to have a look at all the graffiti, because there's amazing graffiti.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So we've got a lot of those kind of soft, what do I say, non-curated, softer social networking events. And then we have the structured kind of curated networking events. And there are, for example, specialist sort of screen breakfasts for people who are interested in the screen, or there's music industry dinners for those who are in the music industry. So all going on all around. There's a whole variety of different industry-related networking events.
That's perfect. South by South is all about serendipity, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's make the chance to help us network also.
Yeah.
But Katy, thank you so much. Carol has another question for Tracy.
Just a question at the end, Tracy. If you could tell something to the Brazilians that are interested in going to South by London, or have something on the expo, or brands that would be there. Can you tell us just how to do this?
Yeah, so people can just get in touch with me at tman@southbysouthwest.com. Maybe you guys can put that in the screen when you finish off this tape. And just remember, the early days of Brazil at South by Southwest Austin were maybe about 150, 200 Brazilians, mainly from the advertising community, who really wanted to see the trends. And I think this is a perfect moment, sad to say, where the US may not necessarily be the market it once was for Brazilian creatives and businesses, to be looking to Europe to new opportunities and new collaborations. And I think being part of that first group is something so special. You will never, ever forget the experience that you'll be living with other Brazilians and, of course, the whole international community in London. So if you have the time and you have the resources, this is the moment to jump in and be first. Brazil loves to be first. They're our first largest international delegation in Austin. And come and be first in London, too, with us. And I'm sure we're going to have a fantastic experience.
Perfect. Be part of the history, right? Because
yes,
as we are telling to our audience here, we have actually, Katy, we have a group of around 20 to 30 Brazilian executives and professionals that are coming with us. We will be the guys from this group, and we are talking to these guys like, listen, we are being part of the history. How many people can afford to tell that they were in the first South by Southwest Austin edition in 1987, 1986?
Wow.
No one. But now we have the opportunity to say, I'm in the first edition from South by Southwest Europe. So we are very excited. Thank you so much. We are writing history now. You are writing history now. I know things are messy, things are hectic, but take a breath, because it's going to be lovely. And we are very, very excited to be part of this.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. It's so nice to hear those encouraging words. It's going to be crazy, but it's going to be amazing.
Yes. That's it.
Thank you. See you guys in London.
Thank you. See you in London.
See you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.